Hi, my name is Kevin Bonham, and this is the third in a series of video tutorials on Adobe Illustrator targeted at scientists. And in the first two videos, we learned how to make some simple shapes and how to make some more complex shapes using the pen tool. And today we're going to learn about how to make some complex shapes that are a little bit more regular, like these receptor-ligand interactions, using the Pathfinder tool. And so this is the first tool that we've talked about that doesn't exist in this side toolbar here. So in order to get this Pathfinder tool out, if you can't see it or you can't find it, you need to go to Window and make sure that Pathfinder thing is checked. If it is checked, you can click on it and it should either disappear or pop up somewhere. And you can move it around to wherever you like it. I like my Pathfinder tool over here on the edge. I'd like to make some complex shapes here so that I have a receptor and something that fits nicely into the groove in the receptor. And so in order to do this, we're going to use the Simple Shapes tool as well as the Pathfinder tool. And I'm just going to go ahead and do it, and then the way that the Pathfinder tool works should become fairly obvious. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a rectangle with a width and height that I know. So I'm going to make the width 15 pixels and the height 80 pixels. And this is sort of arbitrary. I figured it out earlier. But just make a rectangle, and you can see I accidentally made it off of the artboard there. I'm going to pull it over. So here's the stock of my receptor. And then I want to make the top of the receptor. And for reasons that I hope will become clear shortly, I'm going to first make an ellipse that's 80 pixels by 80 pixels. And then I'm going to make another one that is 50 by 50. So these are both circles. And this one has a diameter that is 30 pixels less than this other one. And the reason for that is because I want to, this guy is going to become this part of my receptor here, and I want the width of this to be 15 pixels, just like the stock. And before I use the Pathfinder tool, I want to make a copy of this inner circle that's going to become my ligand. And so to do that, you can do a couple things. You can just command copy or edit copy. It's control copy on PC, and command V. It's just like copy paste for text. The other thing that you can do instead is to use the keyboard shortcut Alt. So if you have the selection tool selected, you grab an object. If you hold Alt, your cursor will change to that duplicate, and you can drag. And now I have another circle of the same sort. So now I'm going to use the Pathfinder tool to remove the inner circle from this outer circle. So you can see that I've got these two separate objects here, but I want this guy to basically become a donut. And so I'm going to line up their centers. Illustrator gives you some handy guides. So we're going to get their centers aligned. So I've got these two guys aligned, and I'm going to now use the Pathfinder tool to subtract the circle that's in front from the circle that's in back. And it's this guy here, minus front, which does exactly what it sounds like. So if I click that, now I have a single object. You can see I can no longer select that inner circle on its own, and I have a single object that's actually a donut. And to get this guy to look like this receptor, I also want to shave off the top of it. So I'm going to just grab a rectangle, put it over the top of that guy, and now this might look a little even more obvious. I'm going to again minus front, and now I end up with this little semicircle guy that is exactly the same shape and size as the ligand over there. So now I want to unite the top and the bottom. You can see here that this is a nice single shape that I can move all on its own. And in order to do that, we can use a different Pathfinder tool that is Unite. Pretty straightforward. And so if I click that while I have both of these guys selected, you see they become a single shape, and this guy fits nicely into it. So in order to make this sort of more complicated receptor, it's sort of the same idea. first make a rectangle, 15 by 80. Again, this size doesn't matter that much. You can make whatever size you want. You can click and drag if you like. Make an ellipse that's 80 by 80 just for consistency. And now we're just going to do the same thing except using a star instead, or you could do a polygon or whatever. So I'm going to make a star here. Oops, I made a tiny little star. Click. I'm going to make a 5-point star that should probably have a larger radius. And for a star, you want one radius to be different than the other. So here we've made a star, and you can align this on your receptor in whatever way you want. You can rotate it to get it to fit in there. And then again, we're just going to go minus front. We have our receptor shape there. But now I've lost my ligand, and I could go here to the star tool and create another one, but if I've done other things in the meantime, I might forget what exactly size I made. So what I like to do is, once I've got this in position and in the right angle, again, hold the Alt key, make a duplicate. Now I go to my pathfinder, minus front, put this guy over here, select both, unite, and now I have a new receptor with a new ligand shape that fits very nicely in there. Now, if you're going to manipulate these, you're going to rotate them. It's always nice to rotate them at the same time. You can make multiple copies in order to do this properly, but that's it. So that's how you can make some complex shapes. There's some other Pathfinder tools you can play with that do some interesting things. I've almost exclusively used the unite and minus front options, but if you, for instance, use the divide tool, select all these objects, divide, it puts them into a group, which is a little weird. We haven't talked about grouping, but now this is a group of objects, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're all in a group. If we ungroup them, so object, ungroup, you can see that now these guys come out like little puzzle pieces, so they're all separate objects. I don't know if that would ever be useful, but it's something that you can do if you like. So that's how to use the Pathfinder tool. Hopefully this is helpful. You can find creative ways to do it. In a future video, I'll show you how to make a sort of complex virus shape, but that's it. See you in the next video, where we finally get to do some color.